What's up, motherfuckers? It's me, and I want to make this updated thieving guide. This is currently the best thieving method in the game. You're going to need the Song of the Elves quest completed, along with 85 thieving. You're going to need the Rogue's outfit from the Rogue's Den minigame. If you're curious about the Rogue's Den minigame, just YouTube it. Search it in YouTube. It's very important that you have this outfit because as you level your thieving, you get double loot if you have this outfit. You're going to want a Ring of the Gods imbued, Holy Book, or like any book from the Horror from the Deep quest, and any blessing. Rada's blessing is optimal, but I currently don't have the Rada's blessing. And if you're trying to train thieving post 99, the thieving cape is optimal. Otherwise, a hit points cape, which I currently do not have 99 hit points. Pretty close to max, but this is a great money maker and thieving training method. This is a pretty optimal money maker, and along with that is some of the best thieving XP in the game. The money side of things plus the XP rates make this method the best thieving method in the game. Even better than Vyres, even better than Knights of Ardone. This is the optimal thieving method. When you consider other GP per hour methods of training your thieving, of making GP in general in the game, this is the most actually relatively efficient way to train your thieving in the entire game. All right, so let me show you how we actually get started doing this. Um, I'm not actually done with my inventory here, but I'm going to show you basically the setup here. Oh, and you're going to want a maxed house in terms of the construction skill. All right, so jugs of wine are really good for healing, is only 4 GP each. Okay, and you're going to want dodgy necklaces, a lava battle staff, either a thieving or a hit points cape, and if you don't have those, you're going to want probably an Artie cloak, and you're going to want the Artie diaries completed. The GP per hour on these guys, is relatively about um, usually probably around an average of about a few million GP per hour, about 2 to 4 million GP per hour, depending on how lucky you get. These guys drop nature runes, crystal shards, and death runes. Also, they also drop diamonds, cut diamonds, and let's see here, cut diamonds, and fire orbs. All right, and every now and then, a crystal impling spawns. All right, so to your maxed house, if you have the construction cape, which is very important for this method, right click and teleport to Prif Dinis. and the person that you're going to be, the NPC that you're going to be pickpocketing, is right outside the house portal. So basically, as you train this method, you drain your HP. You're going to be using the rapid heal prayer to double the restoration rate of your hit points. And if you have a max cape, that's even better. It's even better, because you get the benefit from the thieving cape and the hit points cape. Thieving cape makes it so that you have a 15% less chance of being caught pickpocketing. Dodgy necklace also makes it like 15% less, or rather, I think the thieving cape makes it like 10 or 15% less chance of getting caught pickpocketing. So if you have the max cape, you get both the benefit from the hit points cape, which doubles your restoration of hit points, which stacks with the rapid heal prayer. So let me try to make this a linear guide. When you have this gear setup, Ring of the Gods could be very important, but I guess it doesn't really matter, because this method right here pretty much, um, by the time you drain your prayer, you'll already have restored your prayer. Like, by the time you're done with your inventory, you only lose like 20 prayer points. So it doesn't really matter, but it really, you know, is nice kind of thing. It is like, could prove to be useful if you do a lot of AFKing. You know, as you can see, my prayer is draining very slowly. Um, the jugs of wine that these guys, you also get jugs of wine loot from these guys. Basically, just do what I'm doing right here. Cast the Shadow Veil spell, which you're going to need a Kingdom Divided quest to access the Shadow Veil spell. And just kind of do what I'm doing right here. You're going to need the menu entry swapper plugin, and you're going to want the Pickpocket Guardian plugin with your HP threshold set to 5. Okay. So if your HP is 5 or lower, you will not attempt to pickpocket the elf. If you play on the standard client, or if you play on mobile, I highly recommend you do not train your thieving on mobile or the standard client. Otherwise, you basically have to right click and click every single time. So pretty much whenever you get stunned, that's when you pop your Shadow Veil and drink your wines. And pretty much whenever you run out of dodgy necklaces, head over to whichever bank, probably the Grand Exchange. So this is really a pretty intense method. This is really a really like demanding method of training your account. But really, if you think about it, it's not that bad. If you consider that, construction was one of the first skills that I got to 99, because I was very aware that basically, that maxed house is going to be useful across the board. No matter what you're doing in the game, you got to have a maxed house. And then training, if you plan on getting 200 mil XP in all your skills, pretty much, you're going to be doing this anyways. So this is more or less a method to train your thieving post 99. Um, you could pull an extra few tens of millions of GP training, you know, post 85, but you're going to want to relocate your house to Prifidinus. And have a maxed player owned house, have your, lava battle staff, dodgy necklaces, thieving cape or hit points cape or max cape, with some prayer boosting gear such as the Ring of the Gods, Book of whatever, and any blessing. When you have this gear set up exactly right here, interchangeably with the hit points cape or max cape, um, pretty much set your menu entry swapper to pickpocket, so you could just left click pickpocket this guy. And when you have all of this figured out, pretty much this method is actually very simple. So yeah, and this is for Iron Man is a great way to get nature runes and death runes and crystal. You're going to need those crystal shards for your Blade of Celador and for your Bow of Fahrenheit, or however you pronounce that. Bow is like the newbie version of the Twisted Bow. The kind of like the Bow of Fahrenheit from the Gauntlet. So pretty much, you know, um, yeah, that's one of the next goals that I have for the account is the Bow of Fahrenheit. I will be getting that bow, and yeah. So the kicker is that these guys drop enhanced crystal teleport seeds, which are currently worth about 3.4 to 3.5 mil each. That's the kicker that makes this method really worth doing. You get a enhanced crystal teleport seed about 1 in every 100 um, or sorry, not 1 in every 100, 1 in every 1,000 pickpockets on average, right? So yeah, just try to maintain some level of efficiency. You should be getting around 200. Being very efficient, you should be getting around 200k thieving XP per hour here. But being like halfway efficient, I usually get around 110 to 120k thieving XP per hour. To put it to you this way, I've been somewhat efficient and I've been getting about 131k XP per hour, but also like clicking around the internet and like not being 100% efficient, getting about 132k XP per hour. Right? So thieving is the first skill that post max, which I'm pretty close to max. Thieving should really be the first skill that you pretty much get to 200 mil. because it's going to afford you all the gear that you need for Slayer and everything else, right? So, um, what I'm gonna do is once I get the money for my Armadillo armor, I'm going to be uh, getting my Slayer up so that I can get nine. I'm going to be maxing. So this is the method that I'm actually going to be using to uh, to get my money for my Armadillo armor. This is an amazing money making method and an amazing method to train your thieving. This is the optimal thieving method in the game right now. As of May 28th, 2026, this is the best way to train your uh, thieving. And this is also, to be honest, is one of the best ways to make money in the game. So, pretty much this is how it goes. When you run out of hit points, teleport to your player owned house, exit your player owned house, and run along this way. This guy is usually, make sure you trap this guy inside the house. Um, and yeah, but that's literally pretty much it. So once you have this method down, it's really simple. Set your menu entry swapper, get your pickpocket guardian plugin, and set your threshold to 5 HP. Have this gear set up right here. Have this inventory set up right here. And even without a crystal teleport seed, this is like a few hundred KGP per hour. So really, like, this is a great way to afford your bond every 2 weeks. If you just decide to do a few inventories of elves like every day, aside from your regular play style, you know, you will definitely make the money to afford your bond like every 2 weeks or whatever. If you just get like two or three like teleport seed drops every every week, you know, uh, you'll have like all the money that you'll need. Or if you commit to getting one crystal teleport seed drop like every day, you know, you'll be profiting like tens of mils, a lot of money. So keep in mind with the rogues outfit, it doubles the loot. You see, you notice how I don't just get one jug of wine or one fire orb, I get two. So pretty much, yeah. Uh, this is better than Fires. This is better than Knights of Ardone. This is the best way to train your thieving in 2026. So, with all that being said, I'm pretty sure there's nothing else to talk about. The only thing is, if you have a hit points cape, um, if you're just going for max, if you're not going for 200 mil all skills, which I'm personally going for 200 mil all skills, if you're just going for max, then you'll never really have the chance to do this method with the thieving cape. Um, so, uh, so yeah, more or less, you're going to probably want either the hit points cape or the thieving cape. Probably at the end of the day, you know, um, is a weird divide in how people are going to use this method who watch this video, because I'm going for 200 mil all skills. And most of the people who watch this video probably more or less are not. So pretty much, yeah, thieving is a great way to come up on a little bit of money. Um, Even if you're not going for 200 mil all skills, you could use this method strictly as a money making method. So get your construction up, or use someone else's player owned house. But more or less, um, you could teleport to Ferox Enclave and reset your stats there, and bring like a ring of wealth in your inventory to teleport to the Grand Exchange to bank and get your dodgy necklaces, or bank at the Ferox Enclave. I'm not, to be honest, 100% sure how that works, because I pretty much had 99 construction before the Ferox Enclave even came out. I think I never really used the Ferox Enclave ever in my life. But as you can see, this is a pretty simple process. Um, I've gotten most of my thieving XP at the Vires. But then someone on my live stream told me about elves. I just really wasn't feeling like doing Song of the Elves at the time. But then I got Song of the Elves done, and I, got it figured out and everything. So yeah, pretty much, if you have any questions, or if you have any questions about how to train your other skills, leave a comment. And that is the thieving guide. And by the way, these crystal shards are hella expensive. They're worth 6K each as a high elk, and they could be used more or less. You need um, your 4,000 crystal shards to charge your Salador blade and your Fahrenheit bow whenever you get around to getting those items, to make the corrupted version of those items. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I will talk to you guys later. If I missed anything in this guide, I'm very sorry. I will make another one. Bye-bye.